Hey folks, welcome to this Gears 5 Hivebuster DLC chat/review. First of all, let's get straight into it. I'm not going to spoil any of the story or anything like that, so don't worry about that. The price of the campaign is, quote, free if you have it on the Game of the Year edition. It's not free on Ultimate Edition, which I do think is a bit of a shame. People that bought the Ultimate Edition royally got screwed over in the long run. It's also free on the Game Pass. And if you don't have those things and you just want to purchase it as a standalone product, I think it's around £12 to £13. Be different in your region, but probably around that $15 area. So the things you receive in the package are some skins. You get 3 skins after completing the story, and you obviously get the campaign. Now this is the first time in a while, in a long while, that we've actually had some Gears story. So what is the campaign about? Well, the campaign, again, no spoilers, is about the backstory to the Hivebuster squad. And the Hivebuster squad is those that have played Escape. It's Mac, Keegan, and Lanny. And you might find a few other people along the way. Overall, the actual campaign itself was a complete joy. Let's just get that off the bat. It was a complete joy to play. Cinematics, superb. Storytelling, superb. Even the flow of the actual game itself. For those that don't know, I played this on basically the intermediate difficulty because I wanted to upload the full video to YouTube in 4K. For those that don't know, I tried to finish it as fast as possible because right now I'm uploading the 4K file that's an hour long and it's 80 gig. If anyone's ever uploaded to YouTube, you will know how long 80 gig takes if you don't have fast internet. The length of the campaign, if you play it on a regular difficulty and you don't just bomb it through, is going to be the region of 2 to 3 hours, cutscenes included. It's not the longest campaign you've ever played, but it's just an extension. So originally when I heard this, I was like, it's a paid DLC, it's, you know, a couple hours long. It's about a squad I don't care about. I don't have any affection to the Hivebuster squad, I thought. Well, I do enjoy Gears of War. I like the universe. I haven't been that impressed with the Gears 4 and 5 campaigns. But I'll give it a shot, and I was very pleasantly surprised. This campaign is what Gears 4 and 5 should have been. When I finished the campaign, I was like, I want more of that. I felt way more in tune with the squad than any of the other Gears 4 and 5 squad. I wanted more backstory, more banter. I wanted to see other areas of this hive-busting unit, and the whole thing just came together. So after you've basically played it, you'll understand why the escape mode sort of exists in Gears 5. The sort of abilities that you get in escape mode are explained, and they make sense. It links everything really strongly, and it's disappointing that this wasn't the level of campaign throughout the whole of Gears 5. I think if they'd have delayed the release and just built up the campaign until the new Xboxes came around, this could have been something very special. We're on a tangent here, but this is what we do on this channel. If they'd have delayed the game and released Gears 5 with this level of storytelling, cinematics, visuals, music, the linking of everything, then the multiplayer would have made a ton more sense. Abilities would have made more sense. People would have been more accustomed to the new arcade mode, the escape mode, they would have tried it. I think it just would have gone so much better, and I'm hoping this is a sign of things to come. Now, I'm not going to spoil the sort of look of the game. You can check out my whole playthrough if you want, or just check the cutscenes out in 4K, maxed out. I've got the new PC, so I could run every setting maxed out in 4K. It looked incredible. It really is visually, for me personally, one of, if not the best game I've ever seen. Yes, I've just got the PC that can now run it, but this challenges every game. This makes, I'm going to say it, and people will laugh, this looks better than Cyberpunk right now on my PC. I've got an RTX 3080. I have a 5950X. I've got basically the best system you can physically buy for a home user. Crysis, even with everything turned up, didn't look as clean as this. You've got the reflections and everything in Gears. It was stunning. Now, you can talk about the art style. The art style is a little cartoony. And maybe if we had this level of graphics with a super dark, gritty Gears, it would be absolutely phenomenal. But it really did work together. The whole environment, the whole theme of the campaign was just superb. The jolly characters and everything just sort of made sense. Ugh, sorry if you heard that barking. I actually managed to answer the door and get the present that was arriving, and not actually have it go to a neighbour or get sent back. Alright, so we were talking about how great the visuals were, we were saying how the story links everything in, and we were saying just basically how it's such a good experience. Now, I wish it was longer, but that's such a pleasant change. After I finished the Gears 4 or 5 campaigns, I was like, thank God it's over. Right, that's that explained, we're done. This was like, damn, we're just getting going. Like, I was just getting into it. Like, at the end scene, again, no spoilers, the end scene, when it happened, and the cinematic played, and everything was getting ready, I was like, oh, please, now let's just do one more mission. We've talked about it's fantastic, I really enjoyed it. So, the only two issues I had were installation and a gameplay issue. So there was one installation problem where I downloaded everything, signed in, downloaded the extra 8 gig, installed it, and it just wouldn't install, and there was nothing I could do. Eventually we had solved it by searching the Hivebusters inside of the Microsoft Store and got it to download again, and it worked. But it is a bit disappointing to see another launch just be marred with a tiny issue. I know every launch has an issue. I'm not bashing them for this. I'm just saying it is it's a stick people will use to beat them with, because I've played this game for a year and a half, and every patch that's ever been released has had an issue. So to see the campaign also have an issue, it was kind of like, nah. There was a couple gameplay issues. There's one of them could be my end or their end, I'm not sure. It could be a culmination of things, so this one could not affect you. The first issue was, every time I got an Xbox Live notification, like, you know, an achievement, my shadow play would turn off, causing me to have to basically pause the game, restart, and then you're obviously missing 5 to 10 seconds, so there's a lot of strange cuts in the final video just because I'm missing footage from that bug. That could be to do with Nvidia, it could be to do with, well, a whole variety of things. It could be to do with the Xbox app. That's not really necessarily about the DLC, I just thought I'd mention it. Gameplay wise of the actual DLC, two things happened that caused me to restart / find this fix, I guess. I was chasing a flock, shot it a lot, it disappeared and it flew away, and then it kept saying in the top left, you know, deal with the remaining enemies, and there was just none anywhere. And I didn't want to restart it because it had been quite a long section, and I had a look, and basically there was a tiny little flock hiding in a rock at the back, and I managed to find it and then shoot it and then got it to move, but it was stuck inside of a rock and it made no audio. I just happened to literally spot it out the corner of my eye, and that was after about 5 minutes of running round. And then there was another issue where in a sort of other section of the game I sort of went off the main path. I dropped down, and an area where there was breakable rocks that you had to use an action button to push through the rocks, it wasn't able to be activated because I needed to clear the remaining enemies, and then I couldn't get back up to the area to clear the remaining enemies because I dropped down and there was no way back up. So there was that issue, but apart from that, it ran perfectly well. And again, optimization, I don't know who's working on the optimization, but a phenomenal job, because I personally get sick of seeing laggy games. Like, I try to buy the best stuff I can afford, and often you'll have games that just run like ass. Like, there's nothing you can do about it, and they just either skip and jerk about, or like you turn up certain settings and it tanks your frames. I had everything maxed out and I was 4K 60 solid. Maybe I went to like 56 at some massive area, but yeah, 4K 60 locked, a phenomenal job. So the gameplay was good. The game looked good, the story was good, the cinematics, music, everything tied in really, really well. Alright, so we're on a new day, and the reason I'm interjecting myself in here is because I rewatched the review, and I ended up going on a huge tangent about Gears 5 multiplayer, and yada yada, and it wasn't related to the Hivebusters DLC, and I wanted to get back on track. So, the Hivebusters DLC, fantastic visuals, fantastic character development. The characters have a lot of banter back and forth, but they also have a seriousness to them, which is good, and it made me feel for the group, which I originally had no... I didn't feel anything for that group. Likewise, I don't feel anything for the Gears 5 main campaign. I think that campaign's dreadful, I'm just going to be honest. And I thought it was because the characters were, quote, like, a bit woke. It was a bit like... It just wasn't my type of thing. It wasn't Brothers at Arms. It wasn't passing war stories between each other like it is in this campaign. It was just kind of like a bit weird. And I felt like, oh, it must be because I'm, you know, just a bit older. I don't like the characters compared to the older games. But actually, I think it's just the writing. I think whoever did this part of the campaign, this Hivebusters, I think if they took over the new, quote, you know, the sort of Kate, JD sort of squad, I think if they wrote it in the right way, you could probably come to like them. It's just they don't suit this whole war, Brothers at War style. Whereas this DLC, it really like links everybody together. It links them to the escape mode. It links them to like getting abilities. It links them to like old memories, old groups, old squads, and how they've gone from different squads and then joined up together. That's, for me, what was really good about this, because it took a group of 3 people that I didn't know much about, linked them all up, and actually made me care about them, which is what Gears originally was. So, I've seen a few people on Twitter saying that the Gears 5 campaign, the main campaign, is still much better. It's literally not. I don't know what standards you've got, but the Gears 5 campaign, Gears 4 campaign is dreadful compared to this. So, the experience I had was so good in this campaign that I thought, you know, what they really should do, because evidently they can't fix the multiplayer. It's kind of where it is now. It's where I've always thought it's going to end up. It's a smooth game. It's got a dodgy netcode. It works. It's not the best, but it's kind of working right now. I would rather they just say that is the multiplayer. Deal with it. That's what you're getting. Deal with it. And actually now just spend time on creating content that is actually good, marketable, grows the franchise. We've had loads of articles from IGN, Digital Foundry, videos by other people talking about this DLC, getting people back into the franchise, because whether you like it or not, Gears is about the story. It's about PvE modes. The multiplayer is always going to have its hardcore fan base, but that's not what grows the franchise. It is campaign people that go into the multiplayer. People don't go onto the shelves of shops and buy Gears for the multiplayer. This isn't COD. Like COD, the campaign's like the extra bit that you don't play. Gears is like you play the campaigns, maybe you play the multiplayer. So by making people care about the characters, by making people understand the game modes, then they will actually wander into multiplayer. So I would like to see Gears 6 have a ton more story-driven content, actual horde-only maps, proper, you know, just actual well-constructed things around PvE, good AI, you know, horde maps, new fortifications, stuff that makes people care, that then they can wander into the competitive multiplayer. But right now, the multiplayer is just this airy-fairy, wishy-washy, it's okay, it's not bad, it's not great, it's not really memorable, and they've completely forgotten why Gears was actually good. Gears was good because of all of the stories. The original trilogy was why people liked Gears. Yes, I know everyone loved the multiplayer, but mainly if you were to pluck 100 people out of the streets that played Gears and said, what do you like about Gears? They're probably going to say the original campaigns. Whereas if you plucked 100 random people from the same area and said, what do you like about COD? If they liked COD, it would be the multiplayer. So it's just different crowds, and this really does nail the DLC down to a T. And I'd love to see much more story-based content in the future like this, because clearly the multiplayer is always going to have these issues. They can't seemingly fix it. So if they can't fix it, I'd rather it become more popular through people playing story-based missions and wandering into the multiplayer, because again, it links everybody up together. There's back and forth. There's that classic. There's like blockbuster moments, but also funny moments, and also a bit like sad moments. That's what it's about. So that's what this campaign does. It's not very long. You know, obviously it's only DLC. Wish it could be longer. I'm not going to oversell it and say it's the world's greatest campaign, but in comparison to the Gears 5 story, it's brilliant. So if you're interested in, maybe you didn't really like the Gears 4 and 5 squad and you were getting a bit like, oh, I just don't care about this franchise, try this DLC out and it might change your mind. Hopefully we see more of this stuff and less of the Gears 5 main side of the pointless open world on a skiff for no reason. You know, I want those funny, sad blockbuster moments. I don't want to ride around on a skiff that's open world when there's nothing in the world. Yes, it's an open world, but there's nothing to find or do. It was just like a pointless selling point. But this DLC, very, very good. Enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, give it a check out. Give it a check out. Thanks for watching this video. Here are a couple videos that you also may enjoy. It is a full complete playthrough of the Hivebusters campaign on the maximum settings possible, and also all of the cutscenes. If you've enjoyed the content, feel free to subscribe, like, comment, and visit the links in the description for more ways to connect.